as children, like I said, in school, you're very impressionable. So if one person calls you stupid, especially someone with any authority, they call that authority bias, by the way, like your teacher or an older kid or a cool kid or something, all of those things are authorities. If they say, hey, if the school system says, hey, if you don't make at least 70% in your class, you fail and you're a failure. They might not say it in those words, but that's the way that you basically that's what you feel like is implied. You infer that, oh, I failed, so I am a failure, and you can't fail at all, or you're stupid. And you're like, okay, well, I'll always be stupid. And then it gets set in your brain as that. And it's very hard to change, very hard to unwind this sort of thinking once you become an adult. Alright, welcome back everybody. Today we are going over the topic, stop playing scripts that make your life suck. Okay, so that's a bit of a triggering topic there maybe, but let me go ahead and explain what we're talking about here. So, your mind, your brain, is a script playing machine. Alright, how do I know that? Well, just think about everything that we know about, like psychology pretty much, about the history of mankind, about why scripts are there in the first place. And I define the word script as this right here is an equation, it's an output depending on whatever's going on in your life. Your brain has this output, like we're going to behave this way every time, this way every time, this way every time. And some of them are good and some of them are bad. Let me give you an example. Here's a script that is not good. Let's say this script, let's see what we're going to do here. We'll use this color. This is a script that's not good. I'll always be stupid. Okay. This, bad script. But in some way, in some form in your life, or at least at some point in your life, you have probably felt this way at least about a certain topic. You might be like, man, some people are really good at math, but not me. That's your script. I'll always be stupid at math. I'll always be stupid at understanding the people that I want to have a romantic relationship with. Let's just say, for example, you're a guy and you're interested in women. You're like, dude, I'm always going to be stupid when it comes to women's psychology. I don't understand it. I can't connect with them. You know, I can flirt a little bit and then it kind of goes downhill just because I'll always be stupid. I'll always be alone. Because there's another one. I'll always be alone. That could be another script. Okay? But the stupid one, in some way or another, most people can understand that script because they felt it about things. You might have been in school, and unfortunately there's a bit of a scarcity bias sort of frame when you're in school, depending on what school you go to, but it's basically like, hey, if you don't understand this, you're kind of stupid. In lots of places around the country, for example, it's kind of shunned upon for you to ask questions or to not get it. If you were to say, I don't understand this, all the other kids laugh at you. Maybe even the teacher is like, okay, it's very simple. I just explain, right? A plus B equals C, or whatever it is they're talking about. Does that make sense? Or this word is pronounced and spelled this way. Why don't you understand? Are you not paying attention? And we kind of get into that, dude, I must just be stupid. This is particularly devastating on very young minds, like something like K through 5 or something like that, like elementary school. Because children have very unscripted. They don't play many scripts as many as adults do. They have very unscripted minds, and their minds are ready to start making scripts to make their life easier. Because the whole reason the mind makes scripts is it makes your life more easier, or it makes it easier, it makes it more convenient, right? And from a biological standpoint, you have scripts so you don't have to think about behaviors every time they happen. You just do them to save energy. And your body wants to save energy because in its mind, you might die the next day or in the next hour. There might be some neighboring tribe coming over to kill you, some bad guys or something, or there could be some sort of like saber-toothed tiger or something like that, or a bear. There could be there could be a natural disaster and you need to be able to get up and run your ass somewhere else so you don't get any of that disaster, right? That's what your brain thinks. It thinks this right here. It's like, hey man, this is you. Here's you. And here's you. And we see that, oh no, we have a flood coming. Okay, I don't know where my blue marker is, so we're just gonna do this in purple. Just imagine that this is some water and it's starting to get really high, man, and there's a flood coming. And your brain is like, oh, damn, flood isn't good. We'll drown if we're a part of that. So you need to be able to save your energy. Here's your energy. Let's say it's these lightning bolts. Zzz. That's your energy right there. This energy is part of you so that you can get out of there. So you don't, this flood isn't here, or this tiger, or this bear, or this neighboring tribe, you could have some neighboring tribe coming to kill you. It's a silly example, but this is literally what your brain is thinking. They think, oh God, here comes all these people, man, and they're bad. This is bad. Bad people. And that was that way because for tens of thousands of years, everybody had to struggle over the same resources. What you wanted to eat, the animals and the berries and the resources you had, the land, whatever it is, you were in direct competition with them in order to get it. And it's still that way in the world if you think about it, although to a much less severe degree. Here's the thing though, the things you were in competition with here were life and death. If you didn't get to eat, or you didn't have the right territory, or whatever it was, you died. And these people would come and take it from you. A lot of people don't realize that murder was a much, much higher, a higher chance of it happening to you back in the day than it is now. All right, because literally everyone who wasn't part of your tribe pretty much could murder you, because it was either they do that or they'll starve to death. So your body is thinking these things. It's like, oh, bad people and natural disasters, and maybe there's, I don't know. There's a charging herd of wildebeests and something, like you're in the Lion King or something, and that was a reality. So it wanted to do this. It wanted these. It wanted scripts, and it wanted scripts because of what? Well, it wanted scripts because scripts make doing things easy. Here's a script you want. You see a charging pack of, like I said, like a wildebeest or something, and they're coming straight for you, but you have just enough time to run in an angle this way, get out of their way because they're freaking out about some predator or something. They're gonna trample you. And that's what you do. You do that arrow right there. You get out of the way of the wildebeest or of some rising water, or you see a tornado trying to touch down or something, and you get out of there. You don't need to be thinking about, should I really do this? Should I run some calculations and put this in an algorithm of how likely is it really to hit me, and okay, what is the optimum running speed and at what direction? No, you would never do those. That's a script. There's some good scripts, like maybe you like playing violin or something, and the script you keep running is, hey, I'm actually pretty good at violin. I'm first or second chair of my whole orchestra or something. Right, and every year I get a little better, and I just keep running the script that, hey, I'm maybe even nothing else in my life, but with violin I'm really good. That's not a bad script to run, that I'm good at violin, because it builds on itself and consistently keeps you in that optimistic frame of mind, and you get better at violin all the time because of it. It's a self-fulfilling prophecy. The issue is when you run a script like that, I'll always be stupid. And as children, like I said, in school, you're very impressionable. So if one person calls you stupid, especially someone with any authority, they call that authority bias, by the way, like your teacher or an older kid or a cool kid or something, all of those things are authorities. If they say, hey, if the school system says, hey, if you don't make at least 70% in your class, you fail and you're a failure. They might not say it in those words, but that's the way that you basically that's what you feel like is implied. You infer that, oh, I failed, so I am a failure, and you can't fail at all, or you're stupid. And you're like, okay, well, I'll always be stupid. And then it gets set in your brain as that. And it's very hard to change, very hard to unwind this sort of thinking once you become an adult. Does that all make sense? Okay, what are some other things? I'll always be stupid. How about, let's use that same color. How about, I'll always be out of shape. Maybe you're not in the best shape of your life. And you're like, man, it's been 10 years, 20 years, 30 years. And I've never really been in shape. And I try sometimes and I fail. And dude, I've resigned myself to dude, I'll always be out of shape. I'll always be a little overweight, or I'll always eat like crap, or I'll always, here's another one, I'll always be a drinker or a smoker if you don't want to be those things. I'll always find, here's one for, let's say that you're a woman looking for a quality man, but you never find them. Man, I never find quality men. Quality men, right? That M has too many bumps in it. That's okay. Some men have too many bumps in them for women, right? There's too many bumps in the relationship. That's why they're not quality, and that's why they feel like this script right here. Eventually, it teaches them that, hey, I'm never gonna find a quality man. There's none out there. I try all the time. I don't know what's wrong with me. I don't know what's wrong with that or whatever, and you just keep running that. Of course, there's quality men out there. There are men, even if there are a lot of men. And you can change the sex as whatever it is that you want. But even if there's a lot of men out there that have hurt you, I'm sure there are ones that you look up to, right? That you really love in your life and that you see that are good people. They're probably not dateable people. Maybe they're in your family. Maybe they're way older than you, or whatever the case is, and they're quality. But remember, that's just a script. Just like I'll always be out of shape is just a script. I'll always be stupid is just a script. These scripts make your life suck, man. Because as you run a script over and over and over, it gets easier and easier and easier to keep running it. You keep running the script because your brain wants to have as many of this right here, this disaster kind of stuff we were just talking about. It wants as many scripts as possible because also when something comes along, it's dangerous. It wants you to be like, no, don't you be calculating things. Don't be thinking like, I wonder if I should run, or I wonder, what is that sound of like rushing water, or that thunder and lightning that I think that I'm hearing and seeing, but I can't quite find it in the sky. I'm out here in the middle of a field and I could get struck by lightning, but I'm not quite sure it's out here because I can't exactly see it, and you're sitting there looking around at the thunderstorm clouds to see a lightning strike and be like, okay, there's my proof. No, your brain is like, you hear that thunder, you feel that wind pick up, you get out of there. That's what your brain wants you to do. And the thing is, here's what's interesting. For the most part, it can't tell a difference, by the way, between a disaster, right, and I'll always be stupid or something like that, or I'll always be out of shape. It can't tell the difference. It thinks, because these things here have brought you pain, it thinks that, hey, those pain things, that's that disaster stuff. We don't like pain or disaster stuff. So, what are we going to do? We're going to turn that into a script. You a couple of times in your life tried working out or eating better or whatever the case is to be in better shape. It isn't just about losing weight. A lot of it's about that, but it's also about putting the right kinds of energy in your body that works with your personal body. You probably don't want to be eating ramen noodles every single day for every single meal. And for some people, that might not necessarily make them fat, but they're not going to be feeling good. Sometimes malnutrition means like the other way. Or malnutrition can mean either way. It can mean you're eating way too much, you are malnourished. If you're eating way too little, you're malnourished. You are badly nourished in either one of those cases. Do you see what I'm saying? So you could not be eating enough. You could be like, I don't know, a bulimic kind of person, and it's like, man, I can never find the foods that I need, or whatever the case is. Apply it to whatever's going on with you. But that script, you probably know some scripts that you're like, I'll never be good looking. I'll never be smart enough. I'll never be as good as XYZ at my job. They're getting these promotions. They're getting a pat on the back by the managers all the time. I'll never be that. I'll never be charming enough for a date. I'll never, whatever. It's not just nevers, but we're talking about one specifically. You don't want to play these scripts right here that make your life suck, because the more that you play those scripts, the more they get embedded, all right, into your subconscious mind, and then it's not an option anymore. It becomes a habit. It becomes instinctual. As soon as somebody pops open, a math book or something, or they're like, hey man, can you calculate 20% of 100? And you're like, dude, no, I heard math terms, and remember, I'll always be stupid at math, or whatever. Your brain just automatically goes there, and that's what a script is, and it becomes habitual. Does that make sense? And here's the other thing. There is a cognitive bias that plays into this called the commitment consistency bias. So basically what that means is the longer you commit and the more consistent you are to committing to anything, but in this case, a certain belief, the more like energy and resources that you've sunk into a belief, the more likely you are to just keep believing it. Because it's easy. That's not because your brain is right or wrong or fair or any of that. It doesn't care whether you're happy or sad. It cares about this right here. That you have the energy so that when there's a disaster, you can run. That's basically what it cares about. And every time it can make a script instead of you thinking about something, then you have more energy here to get out of there if there's a flood or whatever. Now, here's the good thing. You can use that to your advantage. You can play scripts that make your life awesome, right? We want to get rid of this suck. No. And we want to replace it with awesome. So we get rid of that one. And we get rid of this. So play, here we go. Let's play scripts that make your life awesome. Right there. No suck. All right, no stopping, no. That's what you want to change it to. You want to change it to play scripts that make your life awesome. So what's a script that is related to that, but would make your life awesome? Well, I'll always be stupid. Nah, maybe just right now we don't understand it. I must get to understand it a little better. That's all. Maybe it's gonna take more time for you. People, this is another thing with this, with the competition and the scarcity that there's in school. You see the smart kids, there's like 2 or 3 of them, or maybe it's half of your class, I don't know. It's usually like 2 or 3, and you're like, dude, those people are smart. And they probably are. If it takes you 5 times as long as them, that doesn't mean you're not smart. That means for that specific subject, you're just not well aspected. You can still learn it. Humans can learn almost anything. All right? And that's the issue with comparing yourself too much to other people, scarcity bias, and having all of those impressions pushed on you, especially when you're young. All right? Maybe you'll be good at math. It might take you 3 times as long. Who cares? Who cares if it takes you 3 times as long, okay? Because there's going to be some things, maybe like I said, you're that violin player, where you pick that bad boy up and you are, I don't know, you're putting out some tunes that'll make some people weep, man. They're so good. There's something in your life you're good at. That's the thing about everybody. Any of y'all play any video games and you see, okay, I'm in an RPG. Do I want to play as a swords person? Do I want to play as a heavy armor person? Do I want to play as a wizard, or do I want to play as like an archer or something? And you look at their stats. You got strength and dexterity and how much health they have, how much armor they have, how much intelligence or wisdom or reasoning skills, and they're all different, right? You got a graph, right? Here's your graph, like this, right? And I don't have enough space to list out everything, but you have different lines on that graph, right? You have lines that look kind of like this. They're not all the same. Here, let's back that one off so it's not the same as this one. And you have different lines, right? So that for you could be math is not really that great, but man, music, I'm good at that one, dude. Right? It doesn't matter. You can pull the math up. It might take you more time. There's no judgment. At least not here on my channel and stuff when it comes to that stuff, because most people out there are actually pretty sharp when it comes to the things that they're good at. You just gotta aspect yourself correctly. Alright? If you keep that in mind when you're thinking about playing all these scripts. Because the issue is, you might not be good at math, but you're really good at this. What if the world was the other way around? What if school didn't care about math at all, and music was like 50% of school, and then you had all the other subjects, right? So somebody who wasn't good at playing violin, they would think this, I'll always be stupid. Because remember, it's almost arbitrary when we talk about subjects and how smart you are in them. Math, reading, history, social studies, music. In this case right here, this subject would be, I don't know, psychology or something. But do you see what I'm saying? It's arbitrary. Think about it. Think about some sort of different world. Like you went to a different planet or a different country and they flipped everything around. Like music was very important. All the kids that were smart at music out there, but they might not be that good at math or science or whatever. It didn't matter though, because that math or the music was that school's math. That school's reading. That was important. And so we just That's what that just think in those terms. That then you flip the script. That's exactly what you do. You flip the script, right? You have to stop playing these scripts because when you're talking about one subject there, and when you think I'll always be stupid because of one subject, guess what happens? Well, that starts affecting that nice big line right there. It starts affecting your music ability because you're like, man, I'm really good at music, but then if I'm always going to be stupid, that has a little bit of effect on every single little thing you do. Do you see how damaging this can be? And so this is why you need to stop playing scripts that make your life suck. You need to play scripts that make your life awesome, right? I'll always be out of shape. No, you don't have to be. Try something. Try something else. And another big thing is, one way, if y'all want to know how to, one way you can definitely reprogram your scripts very powerfully, this is a very effective way to do it, is get other people around you that are playing the script you want to play. If you want to be good at math, just get around other people that are good at math. Even if you don't practice math, you will start to pick up on some of the lingo and some of the ways they look at equations or that they calculate things in their heads. It will rub off on you a little bit. Same thing with music. Same thing with however you spend your money. You might be like, dude, I'll always be poor, man. My mama had no money. Her mama had no money. My family has always been kind of broke. That's a lot of people's story. There's nothing wrong with that. What's wrong with it is, what are you going to do now? Right? You're going to keep playing that script? Because you don't have to. It's your choice. You play the I'm always going to be poor script, and that's what you're going to see. But, there's all the power of positive thinking and stuff, and about how you need to visualize it in your mind, and that stuff works good. But you know what works even better? That visualization, let me tell you, the visualization thing takes some willpower to do. When you're down in the dumps and you're down on yourself and stuff, you're not going to have the power to do that positive thinking. Not in the way that it's intended to help you. Do you see what I mean? But you surround yourself with people who are positive people or who have the results that you want. I mean, you don't want to be poor. You surround yourself with people who not just have stuff, okay? Because that doesn't tell you anything. You see someone driving a $100,000 car, the only thing that tells you is that person used to have $100,000. Now, if you also know that, this guy also invests in stocks. He is in real estate. This guy, he is, I don't know, maybe a public speaker or something, kind of like me, right? He does this and he gets paid for it or something. Or he has a business that he opened up a franchise. Maybe he has a McDonald's franchise or something. He's got all those things, or she, or whoever it is, and they have a $100,000 car. You're probably okay. All right? You just don't want to say one thing like, ooh, let's find everyone we see that has a Rolex and then go and go learn from them necessarily. You want to do a little more due diligence than that. But generally speaking, people who they not just have money but understand the flow and they're always on the rise with their money, like it's going up and up and up. Sometimes it'll dip down, but overall it's going up all the time and they're learning more. Surround yourself with those people. And this right here will change your script. You want to surround yourself with, I would say, at least 5 people who have the script or have the lifestyle or the mentality that you want, because it will just in a psychological way, it will dissolve that script and help you build a new one. And you can still do your positive thinking. That stuff is great. But when you're down and it's hard to be positive and optimistic about things, those friends around you will be like, hey man, this stuff happens. It's okay. We're still here for you. Don't worry. You're not going to be poor forever. You're still here. This is just a little thing that happens on the way. It's part of your test. All right? So, anyways, stop playing scripts that make your life suck. Please also do like and subscribe. If this has been of any value to you, do all the stuff for me, the bells or whatever else they got going on right now, because those do really help me. I appreciate that. But just to recap, stop playing scripts that make your life suck. Just think about it. Your brain, here's the thing about your brain. It will tell you, it'll make you think that you have gone through this, each one of your automatic scripts, and thought about them before. It will make you think that, oh man, I've thought about them before. Most people haven't. Not really. Think about them. Write them down. Like, you see all this writing I did? You can just write 1 script, or 3 like I did, and not do all of this stuff, and write them down. Even just writing 3 down and becoming aware of them does this. You know what happens? It breaks the scripting. Yet one way to also break the scripting is to stop. Stop and step back from everything. Pause and be like, wait, what is the actual evidence? Because your brain doesn't look for evidence. Remember, it doesn't look for evidence. All it is want to make these scripts so you can avoid disaster. That's all it cares about. That's okay. We can use that to our advantage too by flipping the script, and then that's okay if you keep playing one. I'll always be smart or sharp or super intelligent. You want to play that script. You don't want to be like a narcissist about it or like really big-headed about it, but you see what I'm saying. I'd much rather you be like, I'm always going to be a connoisseur of knowledge or something. I'll always be in shape or of good health. I'll always find quality men. You sit back and you find evidence for those things, and you want to use that commitment consistency bias with those things, right? That's how you stop a script. Also, for a lot of you who like meditation or something, meditation is good for this. If you do it properly, meditation, one thing that's great about it is it stops scripts from running. You slow your mind down and stop it from just running around. It stops scripts from running, and you can actually hear your actual thoughts. Remember, a script isn't a thought. It's just like a fixed action pattern is kind of what it is. So anyways, thank y'all so much for being here for this one, and have a beautiful day.